Yo, before you rage quit this video. Yes, I put Nobara in D tier. And yes, Gojo is locked in S tier where he belongs. If that already makes you mad, good. Drop your ranking in the comments and prove me wrong. Today I'm ranking the biggest names in Jujutsu Kaisen from D tier all the way to God tier S. Not vibes, not favoritism, power, feats, domain potential, and how scary they'd be in a real fight. Let's go. Quick rules so nobody can say I cheated. S tier means top of the verse, people who warp the whole story when they show up. A tier means monsters who can hang with the elite. B tier means strong, dangerous, and legit. C tier means solid but get outclassed hard by the top dogs. D tier means I like you, but in pure power ranking, you're not surviving the heavy hitters. Cool? Cool. Starting from the bottom, D tier. And yeah, Nobara Kugisaki is here. I know, I can already hear the comments. She's goated. Straw doll technique is cracked. Listen, resonance is nasty. Hairpin is nasty. Against the right cursed spirit, she pops off. But this is a power tier list across the whole series. When the ceiling is Gojo, Sukuna, and domain merchants who delete city blocks, Nobara's toolkit just doesn't scale the same. She's brave. She's iconic. She's not cracking A tier on raw power. Don't at me. Actually, do at me. I want the debate. Also in D tier, Junpei. Tragic story. Interesting technique. In a pure power ranking, he's not hanging. Early Yuji without growth arcs would flirt with this area too, but Yuji climbs fast, so we're ranking characters closer to their peak impact. D tier is the you matter to the story, you don't warp the power scale zone. C tier time, this is where it gets spicy. Momo, Panda at baseline. Some of the Kyoto crew when they're not catching a massive buff arc. Useful, tough, creative. But the second a special grade walks in, the gap is brutal. C tier fighters can win fights, they just don't change the meta of the verse. Now the first name that's gonna start arguments, Megumi Fushiguro, parked at the top of C, climbing into B depending on the moment. 10 Shadows is insane on paper. Mahoraga alone is a cheat code. The problem is consistency and cost. When Megumi is cooking, he looks like a future god. When the fight turns into a nightmare, the technique can eat him alive. Peak potential? Ridiculous. Stable all-time power slot? I'm keeping him honest around high C to low B. Fight me in the comments. Also, C to B border, Nanami. Ratio technique is clean. Overtime mode is aura. Against curses in his range, he's a problem. Against the absolute monsters later in the series, the ceiling shows. Respect Nanami forever. Power list is cold-blooded. B tier. Welcome to the real fighters. Todo. Simple domain brain, boogie-woogie chaos, battle IQ through the roof. He doesn't always have the biggest nuke, but he turns fights into puzzles opponents fail. That's B tier energy. Yuta's classmates and a lot of strong grade 1s live in this neighborhood depending on the matchup. Nobara's fans can relax for half a second, because Maki Zenin after the Mai arc is not D tier. Fully realized heavenly restriction Maki is a different species. Split soul katana, speed, precision. She carves through curses like the verse forgot to nerf her. High B, sniffing A. If your list has post-awakening Maki anywhere near early Kyoto arc Maki, delete your list. Toji Fushiguro, the assassin. Zero cursed energy. Pure physical nightmare, inventory curse, playful cloud. The man who made the strongest look mortal for a second. Toji is the blueprint for stats and prep beat fancy techniques, until the absolute top of the verse answers back. Solid A tier threat on the right day, but I'm locking classic Toji as high B to low A because the gods above him still break physics harder. And yes, that sentence is going to start a war. A tier, take a breath, these are the monsters. Yuji Itadori at peak progression, Divergent Fist, Black Flash Merchant, Sukuna Vessel durability, soul awareness. The kid collects trauma and turns it into unchecked aura. Peak Yuji is not strong for a first year. Peak Yuji is a problem for almost anybody who isn't a walking calamity. High A. If he catches the perfect Black Flash chain, the tier boundary starts sweating. Yuta Okotsu, copy, Rika, domain. Output that makes special grades look nervous. Yuta is what happens when the universe says, What if the protagonist had homework energy and a nuclear friend? He belongs in A, and on some days he knocks on S tier's door. The gap between Yuta and mid tiers is disrespectful. Kenjaku. Hundreds of years of schemes. Body hop. Maximum techniques. Domain. The kind of villain who treats the whole verse like a chessboard. Power plus knowledge plus cursed technique mastery. Hard A. Maybe the scariest brain in the show. Geto at full curse army command. Uzumaki. Pure spirit manipulator aura. Peak Geto is a dark A-tier commander. Quantity becomes quality when your summons are a nightmare catalog. And Mahito, when he's online, Idle Transfiguration is one of the nastiest hacks abilities in the series. Touch you wrong and it's over. Domain amplification of that concept is disgusting. High B to A, depending on whether you value hacks over raw disaster output. I'm putting Awakened Pressure Mahito in A for pure threat level. You get hit once, the tier list becomes a hospital chart. Okay, S tier. The gods. Satoru Gojo. Infinity. Six Eyes. Hollow Purple. Unlimited Void. The strongest. I don't want a debate, I want a moment of silence. Gojo doesn't just win fights, he changes what fight means. Infinity is the rudest defensive concept in anime. Unlimited Void is information violence. Purple is delete that direction. He is the reason half the villains needed plans, seals, or straight-up plot crimes. Gojo is S tier, not high A, not situational S. S. Locked, gold plaque, frame it. Ryomen Sukuna, the king, the other end of the nightmare. Dismantle, cleave, malevolent shrine, world-cutting implications. The kind of existence that makes special grades look like tutorials. Sukuna is S tier because the story itself orbits his pressure. When Sukuna is serious, tier lists start sweating. Gojo versus Sukuna isn't a matchup, it's a tectonic event. Both belong at the peak. Is there room for a third name near the door? Depending on your reading of the latest feats, you can argue certain peak forms brush the S boundary. I'm keeping the S Club exclusive today, Gojo and Sukuna, because the second we start handing out God-tier participation trophies, the list loses all meaning. S means you warp the entire power conversation. So let's recap before the comments explode. D tier. Nobara is here on pure power scaling, not hate. C tier. Solid sorcerers and high-potential names who aren't stable monsters yet. B tier. Todo. Awakened Maki pressure. Toji-level assassins. Real fight winners. A tier. Yuji peak. Yuta. Kenjaku. Geto command. Hacks demons like Mahito. S tier. Gojo and Sukuna. The end bosses of the energy system. Now the part that actually matters. You can disagree with every single one of these. That's the point. Tier lists aren't court rulings, they're fight starters. If you think Nobara is B tier, write your case. If you think Toji is S tier, write your case. If you think Yuta clears half of S on a good day, write your case. The best JJK debates happen when people bring feats, not just vibes. Mid-video real quick. If you're still here, you're my people. Hit like so this reaches more JJK fans who want to argue in good faith. Subscribe if you want more anime power rankings that actually take risks. I'm building this lane for real. Long form, big takes, no soft lists. Final hot takes, rapid fire. Nobara D tier is a power ranking, not a character ranking. She's elite as a character, different list. Megumi's ceiling is S adjacent if Mahoraga fully cooks under perfect conditions, but ceiling isn't the same as consistent placement. Maki's glow-up is one of the biggest power jumps in the series. Yuta is the, oh right, special grades are built different reminder every time he arrives. Gojo is S. Sukuna is S. If your list has either of them outside S, we are simply not watching the same show. And if you're a Nobara defender, respect. Bring the best resonance argument you've got. I want the hardest counter in the comments. Pin-worthy replies only. No, she's my wife, so S tier. Feats, matchups, domain answers. Let's go. That's the list. D to S. Pain delivered. Gods crowned. If this made you yell at your phone, Good, that means you care. Smash like, subscribe for the next ranking, and tell me what anime I should tier list next. JJK Season 2 characters only? Demon Slayer? Chainsaw Man? Comment it. I'm Austin. Stay positive, stay chaotic, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.